Where?
Just
Is it an obvious?
and right below it's the start. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess it might work like that. I'll just move the chat if I need to. All right. I guess we gotta start now. Hello, people who are here for the workshop. This is the writing department of VGDC's third workshop for the spring quarter. So this is also my first presentation. So sorry if I'm not the best at presenting yet. This week we're going to be going over like succinct descriptions and some and flavor text.
Yeah.
Yeah, woo. All right. So in-game descriptions sound pretty explanatory enough. So do I really need to go over them to explain? Well, you're in the workshop about description, so we're just gonna look through them anyway. So so for an in-game description, their main purpose is to describe an object's mechanics or properties. The way you describe an object in a description depends on the item itself. If you're actually describing a person instead of like a healing item or a weapon, you're not going to describe the person in the same way. That'd be kind of odd. And you're not going to talk about a weapon the same way you would like, let's say, a first aid kit, because they have different values, they have different usage. You're also not gonna talk about them in the same way depending on the game. For example, if you have a game that talks about attack damage and displays it for all weapons already, then you're not going to have it in the description because that would just be kind of redundant. So the example of a description in the game would be in Wind Waker. When you get the elixir soup, it automatically gives you a description of what it does. And by reading it, you already know that the elixir soup is a very powerful healing item. The next example is Rubbish from Dark Souls. And from the description, you can tell that it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing, and if you think it does anything, then you're a stupid person and you need help. It says here right there. And then the last game is Far Cry 5. You can see from this weapon that it's not a regular gun like your usual. So the description has to explain how the gun actually works. You can see here what it does. So some of you might have descriptions that like have stuck out to you during these years. So if you do, I'd like you to share it. Share some examples of video game descriptions that you remember.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Whoa, Yu-Gi-Oh! I can't believe Yu-Gi-Oh! Has descriptions.
Pot of Greed. I actually forgot what Pot of Greed does.
Pokemon.
Whoa, Pokemon has descriptions too. Who knew?
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, Genshin Impact has descriptions. I actually might get to that.
The Soulsborne Hero series.
The what series?
The Soulsborne Hero Ring series.
Oh, yeah. The Kiro Ring series. Okay.
FromSoft.
Yeah, FromSoft. All right. I guess that's enough. Waiting. So, if you've been to our previous workshops, you'll probably recognize this triangle. This is the USI Triangle of dialogue, technically. USI stands for useful, short, and interesting. It just so happens that this triangle is very useful for talking about descriptions too. Like dialogue, descriptions should be useful, short, and interesting. So probably somewhere in the middle-ish here. But before we get further, we must explain why we need to make these descriptions succinct. What is the main purpose of shortening them? Why do they have to be interesting? Well, the first reason for why you should make them concise is technical constraints. Some games, with the way that they're coded, their dialog box does not have all the space in the world for the text. Sometimes if you write too much, the text just goes off the screen and you can't even read it anyway. So what was the point of it? For example, perhaps you have limited physical space, like in a card game. And that makes it, and if you write too much, it will either not be able to fit in, or you have to shrink the text, which makes it just harder to read. So you're gonna need to figure out how to make it more concise so that it's a lot easier to read. Also, you're gonna need to figure out. Also, you need to make descriptions succinct because of player interest. If someone goes into your game and they figure out that your descriptions are ass and that they can't be read easily, they're probably not gonna leave the game, but they're probably gonna be like, why? Who wrote these? Why do I have to sit here and study these descriptions to figure out what they do like it's Shakespeare in high school? Why do I need to do this? I don't want to do this. I want to game. I don't want to read. So in order to keep player interest high, we need to make the description succinct. And also, you might just be like, player interest, I got that covered, and I don't have any technical constraints. So what is the point of focusing on these descriptions? Well, it's just good practice. It might not be the main story. It might not be the dialogue. But practicing concise and succinct writing wherever you go is always just good practice. And that practice will carry on to other areas of writing you need to focus on. So just do it anyway. It will help you in the long run. Like it says on the slide, it encourages deliberate writing and word choice.